All right, so for this video, we're going to get animation going. We have basic movement left and right down. There's some more to do there, but let's get the animation going before we get too deep into it. So first thing I'm going to do is in my base asset folder, right click, create folder. I'll call this animations. I'm gonna go in here, right click, create a new folder, and I'll have this one be called player animation or something. I'll open that up. Nothing in here, but we're going to be putting the animation in here shortly. I'm going to go back to my asset folder, sprites, castle dungeon pack, character sprites, and here we have our sprite sheets for our different animations. Now, first thing though I want to fix is I made a mistake early on. The pixels per unit is actually wrong here. So if you select the character idle, set the pixels per unit to 16. It's 16, not 32. That makes the character bigger and kind of fits the ground a little bit better. I now need to modify the box collider though. So I'm going to select my player character and I'm going to set the size along X to, I'll leave that at 1, but I'll set the along Y to be 1.5. See how that looks. Yeah, that's about right. Then I'm going to delete the offset. That way it sits right there on the ground. So my character collider is the same size as the artwork. That's good enough for now. Now I have in here, if I select the little arrow and pop this out, I have 5 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 frames of animation, 0 through 5. Where if you chain these together, you create a basic movement where he like raises up and down just a little bit. To create an animation from this is actually kind of an annoying process that we get to cheat and just kind of click around a few things by using some shortcuts. So I'm going to select the character idle 0 and hold down shift on the keyboard to select character idle 5. And take this and then drag that into my scene. I'm then going to find my animations folder, player anim, and I'm going to call this player character anim. Click save. And then go into that folder that we saved that to. I now have 2 things, a animation clip and an animator controller. Well, let's go ahead and figure out what we're going to do with this. Well, first off, actually, it looks like I named this incorrectly. Player character anim, this should not be that. This should be idle. So I'm going to right click rename and I'll change it to idle, IDLE. Then this, where it says character idle 0, I'll right click this and rename it to player character anim. All right, so this player character anim with the boxed shape, if I double click that, it opens up the animator. Now yours may have opened up somewhere else. We can open this up by going to Window, Animation, Animator, and you can dock this to the scene there. I'm going to select the player character anim. And here we have something called a state machine. We have 4 different boxes here. We have any state, entry, player character anim, and exit. Well, because I made that mistake earlier, we actually need to re-add idle here. So I'm going to click idle and drag this into my animator. I'll select player character anim, hit delete. And now entry has a little arrow pointing right to idle. I can take any state and move that over here. I'm using the left mouse button to drag around. So what this is a, like I said earlier, a state machine. With a state machine, you define what things should be happening at any given time. So on entry, so when we start the animation, where should it go? Well, it's going to go to idle first. We then create other animations that it'll branch off into. For now though, let's leave it at just entry and idle. Now, I'm holding down the middle mouse button, the scroll wheel, like it's a button, and dragging around, and scrolling in and out to zoom in and out to get it the size where I want it to be. I can hold down the left mouse button and click and drag to select multiple things. And right-clicking will open up a menu. For now, we have entry into idle, so we have an idle animation that will play. Go back to my scene view. I'm going to press play. And we can see that other thing that I dragged in there earlier has an animation that is running, where the character's moving up and down. But my character, the one that I'm actually able to play, doesn't. Well, let's see why. If I select that extra character, I have this component called animator. Well, I should probably put that on my character, right? So I'm going to go ahead and go to my player character, then actually to the sprite there. And then here, I'll go to add component. And I'm going to type in, or look for 2D animation. And no, that's not it there. Oh, kind of weird. So let's just do animator. And now I just have to give it the controller. So I'll drag that player character animation that we made earlier and drag that in here. So now I have a player character controller, animation controller attached to my main character. Press play. And now my playable character has the animation. Cool. I'll go ahead and delete that other character idle that's there. I don't need it anymore. Now we don't have any other animations there, and we have an issue where when I'm moving to the left, the character is still facing to the right. So we're going to have to flip the character animation. We also need to have an animation for when he's running. So we'll have to do an animation for jumping and attacking and all that stuff too. Well, let's go ahead and make those up really quick. Going back to my Castle Dungeon pack, character sprites, and let's go ahead and grab character run. So I'm going to select character run. Set the pixels per unit to be 16. Filter mode to be point no filter. And click apply. And we have the animation already cut out. If I open the sprite editor, I can see I have the frames of animation already done. So we might have some issues with the way it's cut out, but we'll see. We'll see what happens, and we'll adjust it if we need to later. I'm going to close that. I'm going to click discard. So now I need to make this character run animation object. So I'll select character run 0 through 7. Hold on shift. Drag this into this view. Go back to my animations folder, player animation. And this one is going to be, let's do run. Let's press play and see how this looks. So I now have a running animation. Not applied to the character yet, but we'll get there. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this character run object there. We don't need it anymore. And while we're doing this, let's go ahead and just create the rest of our animations too. I'm going to grab character jump, pixels per unit 16, filter mode, point no filter, click apply. And I'm going to open sprite editor and make sure that it looks right. Yep, that looks about right. That's that. And then I'll select these two things, drag this in, and I'm going to save this into the animations folder, and we'll call this one fall, or jump. This one's jump. Let's see what the animation looks like. All right, well, his hair is waving in the wind, so that's something. Then do the same thing for fall. And then I want you to do the attack one by yourself. It's a bit of a challenge. So go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you the end result at the end. All right, so now I have the character attack animation there. Let's press play and see what all of these look like. Well, jump looks fine, fall looks fine. My attack looks weird though. My character disappears. Well, let's see how we can fix that. With the character attack selected, and go to Open Sprite Editor and see what happened. Well, it looks like we have the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth and sixth. There shouldn't be 6 here. That's not right. The sprite editor, because it's set to automatic, it cut this out and thinking this was a separate sprite. Really, it's part of the same sprite. So I'm going to go ahead and select this last one there, hit delete. Or the one next to it, I'm going to drag bar over to the right so it's the proper size. Other than that, looks about right. So I'll click apply. And that automatically changed the animation because it's pulling from those images. So the character's no longer disappearing, but he is kind of teleporting back. That's fine. We'll be able to fix that a little bit later. All right, I'm going to go ahead and delete these extra characters that are there. I have my animations, which is all I need. I'll go back into my sprites, or to my asset folder, animations, player anim. I now have attack, fall, idle, jump, and run. But I also have these extra character controller or animation controllers. I don't need these. I'll select these for controllers, the ones with the boxes, making sure I'm not selecting the one that I made earlier. I just want these 4. I'm going to go ahead and delete those. So now I have my animations and then my animator. So I'll open up the animator and I'm going to go ahead and drag run in, then jump. I already have idle. Let's grab fall and then attack. Now these are just floating in here. They're not connected to anything yet. We need to actually create connections between idle and run and then set some settings for us to be able to transition between these animations. But as it is, this video is getting pretty long, so we'll get to that in the next one. Thanks.